You always look good, lady.
Get
Girl,
everybody.
I'm hitting 54.
Come on in. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Hey, welcome everybody. The chat's open. You should be muted when you come in the room. That's the setting that I think I picked. And you do have the ability to unmute yourself, I believe, but do your best to not unmute yourself unless there's something that you're being asked to share this morning. But I'm excited to be here with us. It's Wednesday, it's July 5th. So here we are, we're in this position where we're past the 4th of July, but also we've got the whole month ahead of us, right? So sometimes these holidays that can create a speed bump in our momentum or our rhythm, they come in the middle of the month, they come at the end of the month, and there's something that, you know, a lot of times you have to think about when you're building this type of a business. However, it's great when we have a holiday where we can celebrate and it happens so early in the month that we have clear skies and clear sailing ahead of us for building in the month of July. And there's probably never been a more important July in our time in this business than this July 2023, because we're here to talk today about getting you qualified, is the right word, qualified for the Jamaica trip next July. So in a week or so from now, a whole bunch of us are going to Mexico, and that's exciting. But I love that we already know exactly where we're going next time. I love that we know exactly what we have to do to get there, because it's time to start talking about this. Some of you weren't with us last year. You couldn't qualify for the trip to Mexico. But what matters and what's important today is that when you see that group of people on social media that they're in Mexico, I'm going to be there, that they're having fun, they're calling back in. Some people have meetings during that time. They'll be calling in, checking in. You'll be talking to them from Mexico. I want you to internalize the feeling. Don't feel jealous. Don't feel like you wish you were there. Don't be angry. Be inspired that this company is putting people on beaches all around the world at no expense to the associate, their gas, round trip airfare, accommodations. It is a blast. And for those of you that would like to be there with us next July, this is the conversation for you to be a part of today. So I want to start by saying, one of the things I've learned in the time I've been here in this business is how to think like a business owner. So some of you, this is not a problem. And I'm just going to hit this point real quick, because some of you, you've already got this because you come from the world of business, or you've already learned that here, whatever, but you already understand what I'm about to say, which is, I'll just talk about my life coming in. So when I got started in this business, I started from a position of having external motivations and external reasons for showing up for things, right? Like if I wanted to go to work and get paid from a job, I had to be there when they said to be there. Otherwise, I'd get in trouble. I mean, maybe not the first time, maybe not even the second time, but eventually, no matter how good of a worker I was, if they couldn't rely on me to be there on time, there was going to be a situation where I couldn't work there anymore, right? So that was an external motivation to make sure I showed up. As an employee, as someone just trading time for money, really, that's kind of the way my brain worked. So I would go to bed at night thinking about what time I was going to get up the next morning. Would I have enough time to get ready and drive to work and get there on time? That was about as far ahead as I had to think. And then once I got to work, I really started thinking about the work I had to do in the first half of the day till I got to a lunch break. You know, when am I going to be able to have lunch? Is it reasonable that I'd be able to have lunch? This was a big thing. I used to deliver furniture. You know, is it a situation where we're going to have lunch on the road because we're so busy, which is hard when you drive a big truck. You got to find a place where you can put it and find food. Or are we going to be able to come back to the store? You know, it's things like that. So I was thinking about the morning, and I was thinking about the afternoon. And then, of course, after lunch, I was thinking, I wonder if I can get all this work done in a reasonable amount of time to get out on time. So I just wanted to make sure that I started with this because that's the way a lot of us are programmed. Think about school, right? School programmed us for that. You got to be at school on time. Then you think about what time's lunch, or what time's your favorite class, or what time's gym class, or what time do you get out. But we're just thinking in this 24-hour universe. And then some of us can just go further than that in our minds. We can think about Friday, payday. Maybe we can think about the weekend, the days off, what we're going to do. So most people are thinking of the day, maybe the week, possibly, quite possibly 2 weeks out. And that's the way most people show up to this business. So if you've already learned how to think long-term, great. But most people haven't. So as you're building a team and you're creating influence around other people, and you want to influence them to do the right things, one of the right things that you have to understand is most of us are not born into thinking long-term. So why does that matter? Well, we're talking today about doing an activity today in the month of July that really isn't going to pay off for you. You're not going to see the results of this activity for one full year. But that's how business owners think. They think about the month and the quarter and the year and 5 years. And if you don't already have a 1 year and a 5 year plan in your business, that's okay. But just know that that should really be a part of what you do, because now this is business ownership. You are the CEO of your Legal Shield business. So that's point number one. We're going to learn, if we haven't already learned it, we're going to teach our teams, if they haven't already learned it, how to think long-term. 12 months out from now, we're sticking our toes in the sand in Jamaica at an incredible resort. I was there in 2018 as part of that Performance Club trip. It is a phenomenal place. I can't start, I mean, the pools and the ocean that you have access to. So you can walk out onto the ocean from any part of the property. There's multiple pools on the property. There's two sides to the property. I'll just tell you a quick story because this is fun. It's fun to tell. I don't know if it's fun to hear. So at the time we went in 2018, in the lead up to that, when we were registering, there's a left side of the property and a right side of the property, and they're divided. It's all one property, but they divide them up into family side and adult side. And so having a new child, that was a no-brainer for me. We immediately registered for the family side, and that's on the family side. There's splash pads, really cool stuff for the kids, a lot of fun. But the best part about the story is all of the folks, and especially the older folks, some of our legends of Legal Shield, people in their 60s and 70s and 80s, all picked the adult side, thinking that that just meant this is for the side for people that don't have kids. Let all the loud kids with the parents and the little kids be on that side. We'll be over here in the quiet side of the resort. Well, it turns out that is exactly not what the adult side was. As a matter of fact, as they found out on night one, the adult side meant that the party went all night. They turned one of the swimming pools into a foam pool. The music was rocking. It was fun. And I just loved hearing the stories on day two of the people that thought that they had booked themselves on the quiet, chill, retired side of the resort. And what they actually got was basically an MTV style party. And actually they ended up having fun. I actually have a lot of stories about people that were well past the expected maturity of who you'd think would end up in a foam pool, and some of you can guess who those people were. It was fun to be had. Okay, I could tell those stories all day, but I'm not going to. I want you there with me. I'm going to be there. See, that's how I think. When they announce a new trip, I've been going on these trips for years and years and years. When they announce a trip, I look at it. The first thing I say is, okay, here's where I'm going, because I'm going to go. I just know I'm going. And then I look at how am I going to get there? Like, what are the things I have to do to get there? And then the most important piece that I put together later as I've moved through this business and matured in this business, the most important piece is what comes third, which is how am I going to communicate to the vast majority of people that have already told themselves they're not going? How do I get them to change their mind? And maybe some of you watching this today are those people, and maybe some of you are working with those people in your team. So I want to talk about this, because it is fun and it is awesome and you don't want to miss this. But if you've never been on this trip, it's really hard for you to understand what you're missing. It's not just a vacation, although it certainly is. And by the way, you deserve a vacation. Your team members deserve a vacation. It's a trip for two. So that means that a spouse or a older child or somebody you want to put in the seat next to you, and you can add your kids to, we always bring Olive on these trips and we just pay the difference for her. But my point is that you want your family to see what it is that they might have sacrificed a little something for, right? There might have been a thing that you couldn't be at because you were working on your business over the next 12 months. You want them to see the reward of that. So I want to teach you about that today. And I want to talk you out of talking yourself out of this trip, because there's some people that looked at it and said, well, I don't have a passport. Listen, you've got a year. You can get a passport. Some of you are saying to yourselves, well, I can see on here where it says I've got to recruit 15 people to qualify. And I don't even know 15 people. Most of you, we haven't even taught the business to yet. There's so much more that we're going to teach you in this business, including that there's people everywhere. Now this is a promotional period from July to February. I think we figured that out the other day. That's 8 months. That's really averaging less than 2 recruits a month. And that's probably not even what's going to happen. You probably will have less than that in the beginning, maybe even 0 recruits in July and August, and you'll just kind of catch up. But over the course of the 8 months, you'll get the 15 recruits. You know why? You'll learn how to recruit. I know that if you're new today, if you're new this week, that you don't really know how to build a team in this business. That's okay. I can stand here confidently and still tell you, you should be with us in Jamaica. You can do this. You'll also see in the indications that some of it says, in addition to recruiting 15 people minimum, you can recruit as many as you want, but that's the minimum, that you have to have 3 of your associates that you recruited get Fast Start qualified. All that means is in their first 20 days, they take some action that gets them paid and promoted. And you might be saying, well, how am I going to do that? I haven't even done that yet. Or maybe you didn't do it. Maybe you missed it. You said, I joined the business. I was busy. The kids were in all these sports. It was the end of the school year. I didn't do it. I didn't even really know how to do it. I didn't know what it was. I learned about it later. How could I get somebody Fast Start qualified if I didn't do it? You got to let go of all of that because the leaders know how to do it. The leaders know how to teach you how to recruit. The leaders know how to talk to your new recruits and inspire them to take the actions, even if they're not actions that you personally took. In other words, you don't have to worry about all of that stuff to make a commitment to be with us in Jamaica. You can just decide. Now you can be bold in that decision. Like you could go and do what I do. Go tell the person that you intend to take with you on the trip that you're going. Show them the flyer. Tell them why you're going and how you're going. That will create some urgency that you might not want to put into your life. You might say, I don't want all that drama at my house, but maybe that's the one thing to get you there. We had a trip many years ago. It wasn't really a performance club trip, although you did have to be in performance club to qualify. It was a trip to Reykjavik, Iceland. And to earn this trip to Reykjavik, Iceland, you had to hold a certain level of monthly qualification called Platinum Executive Director for a minimum of 12 months, 1 year. And that was a trip that at our house, we got really excited about. It also came with a $30,000 cash bonus. So it was something worth focusing on. I'm not telling you that it wasn't. But what I'm saying to you is that during that 12 months, I learned who I was. Because during that 12-month period, it was never, listen to me carefully, during that 12-month period, it was never guaranteed. There was no month where I walked through that month just saying, hey, this is a breeze, I got it, it's no problem. Every month was a fight to stay qualified to go on that trip. Every month. I stressed and I sweated, probably to an unhealthy degree. Now, this was a big trip with a big cash bonus, and it took a year to qualify. So I understand that we're talking about something where the stakes are not nearly as high. I just want you to know, it was never easy. It was always hard. But I became the person that gets things done over that 12 months. And I loved meeting the version of me that went to Iceland, because that version didn't fall down when things were tough. That version kept getting back up when he got knocked down. And I want that for you too. So I don't want to just teach you how to think a year out. I want to teach you how to be bold and tough and gritty and determined in this business, because it will serve you well always into the future. So if you don't have to worry, so let me get back to what I was saying to the leaders on Monday. If you don't have to worry about right now, you don't have to worry about the 15 recruits right now. You don't have to worry about the 3 Fast Start qualifiers right now. You don't have to worry about your retention right now. What do you have to worry about? Well, I'll tell you, I dare you to go tell somebody that you would take that with you on that trip to Jamaica. Go tell them, make a commitment to them, somebody that'll hold you to it. I dare you to get your passport if you don't have one, or get it updated. I mean, that's conviction, right? I'm going to Jamaica. I need my passport. Go fill out the forms at the post office. Take your picture this week. Get it done. Because if you don't get it done, that'll always be the voice in the back of your mind saying, listen, I'll try. I'll see what happens. But, I don't even have my passport. Do it. I promise you, it'll serve you. So what else do you have to do? We have to be Performance Club qualified. And that's what's going to really matter, because that's the one thing that you're going to have to do on a consistent monthly period starting with the month of July. Now, I've got folks on here with me that are going to talk to you about this in a minute, but some of these folks have been in Performance Club for 1 or 2 months. They're just getting it done. Some people, last month was their first month. Some folks, they're hitting a year. And some of you, as you're speaking today, maybe you could talk about where you are in that process as you're moving into those consistent month after month performance club qualifications. But this is what matters. And this is why I needed to talk to you today. This is why this was going to be the most important time for us to get together. I know what the voice in our head does to us. And today, this is my attempt to make my voice and the other leaders of this movement, to make their voices louder than the voice in your head trying to talk you out of this. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint, and you can do it. Now, I'd love to hear from some of the folks. I'm going to start with you, John Fehrenbach, because I just talked to you before the meeting earlier this morning, and I know that I tipped you out that I was going to ask you to speak. So we'd love to hear from you, and you can share with the group where you are on your consistent monthly progress in Performance Club. You were with us in Hawaii. You might want to mention that. That was a Performance Club trip, or really anything else that's on your mind. Take it away, sir.
Well, the sun's shining here in Ohio, so we're happy about that. Hey, listen, folks, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, one bite at a time. And that's what this is all about. Performance Club and qualifying for Performance Club. This is I just qualified for my 18th month, which was last month. And because I had enough points, I'm qualified for this month already. And for me, that is the train you want to be on. And again, it's one bite at a time, one bite at a time. And yes, think out into the future. And I have a board behind me that has all my future stuff laid out, and what I want it to look like and how I want it to look like. As a matter of fact, there's a month up there for me to hit the next couple of promotions. And you know, I hold myself to it. My wife comes in my office all the time. She looks at that board. How you doing? She's my best taskmaster, if you will. But you know, I take responsibility, and that's what you need to do. You need to take responsibility for what you do and how you do it. Whether it's, you know, every morning I'm at my desk at 8 o'clock. I know you guys have all heard me say this type of thing. And I not only work this business, but I do have another business that I work. So this is, you know, a kind of, it's a half and half thing for me, a part-time thing. But you know, I hold myself to do certain things every day and eat that elephant one bite at a time. And yeah, Hawaii was great. I was thrilled. I did enough to put my name was in a drawing, like, I don't know, 700 times or whatever it was. And they pulled my name out of a drawing. And because I couldn't qualify, I got started too late to qualify for Hawaii. And they pulled my name out of a hat, and what a spectacular trip. And when Jim says all expenses paid, he truly means that. The only reason we took our wallets was to pay for souvenirs and bring back to the grandbabies. So it was a thrilling trip. And I know I would love all of us, this whole team, this whole Agents of Change team, to go with us. I think that would speak volumes for our team and the pride that we have in it, for sure. Jim, thank you.
John, thank you very much. And it is, listen, you're hearing from people that have made the commitment to Performance Club in the past and then are seeing that through. And that's why I wanted you to hear from folks today that are locked in, focused on Jamaica, and also focused on the daily activities that create the monthly results. That gets you everything. See, this is what's great about this Jamaica trip. And Sonora Danzer, I'm going to go to you next. But what's so great about this trip is, over the years, you know, I've been around a long time. We've done a lot of contests and incentives. If I'm being totally transparent, honest, sometimes we've done incentives in the past where what is required, without the specifics that would only confuse everybody, the activities that are required are not necessarily congruent with the activities that give you a big, robust, solid business. Like sometimes they reward just pure, you know, all out recruiting, like recruit as many people as you can and who cares what happens and just go crazy and do that. And that doesn't necessarily result in a healthy big business. But when you look at what is involved in qualifying yourself and your team members to join us in Jamaica, it all is the right thing. It is in unison with how you build the big business. What we've been talking about since the first time we came together as an Agents of Change organization, which is that if you want to untether your money from your time meaning you never have to worry about trading time for money again, then what you need to do is you need to build in the formula of a network. And a successful network business, a business that's paying people $100,000 a year, and quite frankly, $100,000 a month in this company, is when you get a large group of people doing a few simple things consistently over a long period of time. Well, what does this trip ask of us? It asks of us to get everybody into Performance Club starting this month, and then keep them in Performance Club every month. Large group of people doing something simple, right? Performance Club, not executive director, not platinum executive director, but Performance Club. It's protecting a couple of families a month. It's maybe recruiting somebody and selling a few memberships. That Performance Club activity, it forms the basis of your executive director team. And that executive director team forms the basis of your six-figure income. And then you just keep growing that team, and then you keep growing your income. And that, while not easy, is simple, and you can even picture it. So that's the business we're in, and that's what this Jamaica Incentive is asking of us. Sonora Danzler, I'd love for you to jump in, talk about anything that's on your mind and heart about this. And then Venus Powers, if you can, I'd love to have you speak after as well. Go ahead, Sonora.
Hey, everyone. Great morning. It is. Yes, absolutely. Everything that you just heard Mr. Tanner speak about in regards to those first steps to qualify for the Jamaica trip. So touching back on just myself alone, as a matter of fact, I kid you not, just yesterday, we had a family meeting, like Mr. Tanner said, but I didn't know he was going to say this. We had a family meeting. I told my husband, hey, we're going to Jamaica. It is on the calendar. I told the high schooler and the college kid, okay, are you guys going with us? Because you don't have to go if you don't want to. And they also said, yeah, we're going in. And we did a family meeting. So we're actually all into this Jamaica trip. And like Mr. Tanner said, you can take one person with you, which is going to be my honey bunny. And then also the kids are going to, or young adults. So we've already drew that line in the sand. And the steps to get there, like Mr. Tanner said, are simple. So first steps are you've got to be in Performance Club. It's simple to do and also simple not to do. 150 points, that's all you need. You've got a whole bunch of different ways to do it. You can recruit a few, do some plans, do a group. All of it counts toward Performance Club. And then also, I'm even more excited that I just hit a milestone in the Performance Club. I am now 12 months of being a Performance Club qualified. And I'm just so excited and so thrilled about it. You guys just don't know. I did like a celebration dance in the house yesterday because I got the information from corporate saying that I definitely hit it. And I was like, whoop, whoop. So guys, it is totally up to you. You've got to have that mindset. If it is to be, it is up to who? Put it down in the chat, everybody. If it is to be, who is it up to? It is up to me. If you want to do it, you want to make it happen, you have got to draw that line in the sand and say, hey, I'm going to Jamaica. I'm taking whoever that second person is, pay the difference, add a few more people, choose. You know, I think I'm going to choose the adult side too, Mr. Tanner, because that just sounds like so much fun. And I'm just so excited. And yes, we want all of our Agents of Change members and family to go with us on this amazing, superb Jamaica trip.
Because we would love to hear from you. We got about 3 minutes together. We can go over, though we're friends. It's an exciting topic. But I just want to, again, I want to make sure you understand this is something that we all want to do together. That's why this is a meeting for everybody. Like we could have a little meeting and say, hey, you know, this is the team of superstars that are going to go. And we start planning, you know, what we're going to buy and what we're going to do to get beach ready. No, we want to bring everybody with us. What you don't see on that list of requirements is a limit. See, you're not competing for one of 10 spots, one of 100 spots, one of 500 spots. Every person that completes the qualifications gets to go. And that is what is so exciting. We had done the trips that way in the past. I'm super excited that we're doing them that way again, because that way you're only competing with yourself. And that's exactly the way we want to do this business, because it is us versus us. It's usually us versus the voice in our head. And we want to make sure that we celebrate everybody that's committed to taking this journey with us and showing up. And all on the way, you're going to start earning cash bonuses every month in Performance Club. So it's not just the trip 12 months from now, but it's cash money every month that you can see as a result of you doing these right things the right way all the time. Tammy, take it away.
Well, good morning, everybody. I am so excited. I am right behind Sonora. I have been 10 months Performance Club qualified. And so I am super excited that my bonus check is going to be going up in a couple more months. So I'm right there with you, Sonora. I'm running. But this trip to Jamaica, I have never been on a Performance Club trip, but let me tell you, I will be going. And, you know, the one thing that I really want to kind of talk about, I guess, I was thinking about it as Jim was talking, you know, we all hear everybody's success stories. You know, we know Jim is in the Millionaire Club. I mean, Venus and Sonora, we're all, you know, you hear all this, and John, but you know, the only difference really between you and them is they've seen a little bit more people than you have. That's it. They get up every morning just like we do. They have to get dressed, they have to eat, they have to comb their hair, except for Jim. He don't comb his hair. But you know, we all do the same thing, right? We're all the same. We're people. The only difference is a decision. And like Sonora said, you have to draw the line in the sand. What kind of life do you want to live? We can live the excuse game, right? We all have them. You know, my life is the circus. We all have them. But if you choose to live in excellence, and like Jim was talking about, this is not just to win the trip. This is to build your business on a solid foundation, on a solid ground. And you do that through Performance Club. If you have that goal every single month, like it's not even a negotiable thing with me. It's like, this has got to happen because I know this is how I'm going to build my business. Because y'all, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm not growing old gracefully, but when I do get 90, I want those residual checks. Okay. I want to live comfortable. I don't want to have to be worried about how am I going to pay my bills and I won't be able to work, which I will be doing Legal Shield until the good Lord takes me home. But I'm just saying, you know, you don't want to be in that position where you're having to make a choice, you know, when it's harder and you had the chance to make it when you were given this wonderful gift of an opportunity through Legal Shield to be able to create a life, not just for you, but for your grandchildren and generations to come. And so that is one of the things that motivates me is I can get up every morning, get excited, get to work, you know, and I talk all the time. But if you go into Walmart, if you go into the post office, have you even opened your mouth to tell them about Legal Shield? They may be going through something that you don't even know about. So be that gift to someone else, you know, just keep on giving. And, you know, you will build this business and it'll be solid and it'll be very much a blessing for you for years and years to come. So I appreciate you, Jim. Thank you for your leadership, and we'll see you in Jamaica.
Thank you very much. As we wrap up, I appreciate everybody sharing their thoughts. Let me just, I'll take maybe 60 seconds and I'll just say a few things about how I believe I can help you to get there. Some of you already do this, by the way, but I've learned that what always worked for me was to have visual representations in my physical world, and those are a bunch of words I'm going to explain, of what I want. And I learned this, you know, we always talked about setting goals and seeing the future in this business. And I remember one time getting a ride. I was out of town and I jumped in Adam Thompson's car to get a ride. We were going to go have some food. It was after a training. When I sat down in the passenger seat of his car, the entire dashboard was covered with sticky notes. He had written out exactly what his goals were, but not in the future tense, but in the present tense, as if he'd already achieved those things. And he had one for the fact that he was already a $200,000 ring earner. He had one for the fact that he was a top producer, that he was the #1 producer in Business Solutions. And he had all of these things on the dashboard. So when people say, hey, were you surprised that Adam Thompson became a a $200,000 ring earner? I say, no, I wasn't surprised at all, because I saw the visual representation of what he wanted, and he put it all around. And by the way, I've been to his house. It's on the mirrors in the bathrooms. It's on the refrigerator. It's where he's going to see those things. And when I was doing those things, I was winning. Now, I said this to some of you. What happened was kind of during COVID and all that, you know, when patterns got interrupted and people stopped doing things that actually worked, even though they worked, that was one of those things that I started putting my goals in my phone, in the notes section in my phone. The problem is that I don't encounter that notes section in my phone when I move around my house, when I live my life. I have to actually pull it up and look at it. And sometimes that doesn't happen. So I just want that to be a reminder to you, as I've started to put these visual representations of what I want and where I'm going around me again, I found that they go into my subconscious and they become part of the actions I take throughout the day. And that could be helpful to you as well. Also, as we talk about getting that buy-in from the family and friends around you, when they come over and they see that your commitment includes doing something that most people won't do, putting out those notes or those pictures, cutting up photos out of a magazine and putting them on the wall, doing things to remind you of why you do this business, putting these visual representations around you, surrounding yourselves with this positive messaging will be helpful to you. And what you'll see is you'll start to garner support from people that otherwise you may not have felt supported by, because they're going to see your commitments at a new, higher, and quite frankly, unusual level. As we go forward today, it's Wednesday. We had this big holiday yesterday. The week is not over. The month is not over. And your business is just getting started. And I just wanted to say one thing that I think was going to be weird to talk about. But July 1st marks the second half of the year, right? So we're halfway through a year where people made promises to themselves on January 1. I just want you to know it is still plenty of time for you to keep those promises. There's plenty of time for you to keep the promises of radical transformation because of this business as the vehicle for you and for the people around you. So remember why you're doing this. Don't let that voice in your head talk you out of this. I can assure you, people that are far less talented than you, with far less skills, far fewer contacts, people that don't know how to use technology, people that don't know how to do whatever it is you think is so important, are winning in this business. And that means that you and I can too. So let's go out there today. Let's finish this day. Let's finish this week. Let's make some noise, because what you do matters and is important, noble work. And today you're going to step into somebody's life and they're going to find out that Legal Shield and ID Shield exist, and that's going to change the way they live for the rest of their lives. Someone's going to learn about this opportunity from you today, and it's going to change the way that they live and earn income for the rest of their lives. Every time you step out on faith and with boldness and courage, and you go out into that marketplace, it's like dropping a pebble on a still pond, creating ripples without ever knowing where they're going to go, but you should be assured they always go good places. Thanks to everybody for joining me today. Let's get Performance Club qualified and let's get to Jamaica together. Thanks. Go have a great day.